Two of the NFL's finest, the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. And the Cowboys, in a stunning departure from character, will open the season with a new face at quarterback, Gary Hogeboom. Hogeboom will replace Danny White as he did in the 1982 NFC Championship game against Washington. Hogeboom in one half of play with shots like this to Butch Johnson and sideline passes to Drew Pearson almost brought the Cowboys back to victory. But his supporting cast has changed dramatically. Pearson is gone, Johnson is gone, and the pressure on the youngster tonight is enormous. Hogeboom's counterpart for the Rams tonight is Vince Ferragamo, with one of the strongest arms in the game. Ferragamo also has a new cast of receivers. Here he looks for David Hill, who had Pro Bowl years at Detroit. Hill will open for an injured Mike Barber at tight end. But still remaining with the Cowboys and Rams are two of the game's great running backs. The Cowboys' Tony Dorsett has in a few short years rewritten the Dallas record book. He's already over 8,000 yards, and a big season would put him over the magical 10,000-yard mark. With twisting, darting runs, and great speed on the outside, Dorsett is a threat to go all the way on any play. So, too, is his counterpart on the Rams, Eric Dickerson, the big second-year back who led the league as a rookie with over 1,800 yards and set an NFL record of 390 attempts. Tonight, the Rams and the Cowboys kick off the 15th season of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Anaheim, California, looking down from the Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. A sellout crowd expected tonight, 69,000 plus for the 1984 season opener between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. These two teams have met so many times in meaningful games over the past few years. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and along with O.J. Simpson and Don Meredith, we're looking forward to what we feel will be a truly fine football game. I think it would be appropriate just to take a moment and mention that Howard Cosell will not be with us on Monday Night Football, my colleague for 14 years, my friend for many, many more years than that. Howard, in his own wisdom, has decided he'd cut back on his travel plans and his broadcast chores to spend more time with his family. But Howard has had a tremendous impact, a profound impact on the world of sports broadcasting and also on professional football. We, in all honesty, are going to miss Howard, and we know he's watching tonight, and we probably know where he's watching. So, Howard, reach over and give him a little pat and sit back and enjoy the game along with Don and O.J., and we hope a lot of other people throughout the entire nation. I mentioned these two teams, the Rams and the Cowboys, have met many times over the past few years. Last year, they met as wild card playoff teams, and the Rams totally dominated the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys have changed dramatically since then, but so too have these Los Angeles Rams. Johnny Robinson, in his second year now, has not only got Eric Dickerson, he's got some speed on the outside. He feels he can go deep, and that would make a tremendous difference for him. They have a good, strong offensive line, one of the finest in the league. Meanwhile, Tom Landry has turned things around down in Dallas. Tom Landry has 12 rookies on this team. 16 out of 52 active players from a year ago are no longer Dallas Cowboys. He is quite serious about things, and he made that perfectly clear earlier in the week when he nominated his new quarterback, Gary Hogeboom, to take over from Danny White. And who knows better about quarterback changes in Dallas than the dandy one himself, Don Meredith, who was involved in one many years ago himself. And Don, do you think it was difficult for Tom to make this change? He likes to keep things stable.
Yeah, he does. It seems to me, Tom, the most difficult thing that Tom had to do was learn to pronounce his new quarterback's name was Hogeboom. There for a while, we thought it was Paz Derek. No, in all seriousness, I think it probably was the easiest choice he could have made. There's been a lot of changes, as you've alluded to. And Danny White knows what Danny can do. He's the second top-rated passer in all of National Football League history, as a matter of fact. So I guess when Tom looked around, he says, hey, if it's not this one, the next stop, they may start looking at the head coach. He made a change. He got a young quarterback, a lot of young players. And I think it's probably a good change. But there's going to be two great running backs, O.J. We've got Tony Dorsett from the Cowboys and Eric Dickerson at the Rams. There's not too many of them better than those two.
I tell you, Don, I'm really excited about this because I think they are two of the greatest breakaway runners who've ever played this game. Dorsett, you remember his 99-yard touchdown run, a record that could never be broken. And Dickerson, I bet you over the next 5 years, there'll be no back that has more long runs than Eric Dickerson. Now, the Cowboys love to play run defense on first down. They consistently over the last 10 years been the best defense against the run. And I think what the Rams are going to have to do is throw the ball, throw it on first down, loosen up that defense, give Dickerson some room. And if they're successful in doing that, we may have a foot race here tonight, Frank.
All right. We look down on the field from high atop Anaheim Stadium. The Dallas Cowboys are set to kick off. There was action this afternoon on Labor Day up in Seattle because of a baseball conflict. A stadium was scheduled for both dates, and baseball one over, and it was Seattle winning 33-0 over Cleveland. We understand that Kurt Warner will undergo arthroscopic surgery, the fine running back for Seattle. We'll get a later report on that at halftime. You had a quick look at Barry Redden, who has dropped for the Rams. Raphael Seption set to kick off the 1984 Dallas Cowboy football season against the Los Angeles Rams. Set to go. The last time the two teams met, it was 24-17. The Rams, as the Rams went on to meet Washington for the NFC Conference Championship. Barry Redden, short, squat, powerful, and Redden out over the 20-yard line to the 23, hit there by Gene Lockhart, one of the fine rookie middle linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys. Vince Ferragamo, he's a bomber. He likes to go up on top, but he has, of course, Eric Dickerson in the backfield. Johnny Robinson recognizing that Ferragamo is a good long passer as we look at the offensive skill position for these Rams, as starting a couple of real speedsters on the outside, Henry Ellard and Drew Hill. There's an offensive line that tied Miami last year for the least amount of sacks. So they performed well in not only pass blocking, but also helping Eric Dickerson lead the NFL in rushing as a rookie with 1,808 yards. Dickerson wears that number 29, and Ferragamo mistiming it with Henry Ellard out on the right side, working against Everson Walls. And let's take a look at this Cowboy defense, bolstered, of course, by the return of Randy White only a week ago. There he is, All-Pro for so many years, in the Pro Bowl the last 7 years. Randy White came back at the beginning of the week. Those are the linebackers. The middle linebacking position, Bob Bruning, he missed much of the preseason with a bad back. And there is a secondary that would turn into a 7-man defensive secondary on a sure passing situation. The Dallas Cowboys, they were 12-4 last year, but keep in mind, and I'm sure if you followed this game, you watched them against Washington, they were annihilated in the next to the last game of the season. Then they lost dramatically to the 49ers, and here is Johnny Robinson, his team, 9-7 on the year, defeating Dallas in the wild card playoffs. And Johnny Robinson was having a word with our referee tonight, Jim Tunney. That is the delay in the game. But then Johnny Robinson, after defeating the Cowboys, went into Washington, where they were truly wiped out by the Washington Redskins. We think the problem is the stadium clock. We will be getting things underway very shortly. There is Drew Hill, the speedster we spoke of earlier, and he really can fly, O.J. And they have another one, Ron Brown, they acquired from Cleveland, a rookie out of Arizona State. You recall him from the Olympics, your own coverage.
He can fly, and you look at their two starters, Hill and Ellard. You're looking at two guys with career averages of over 20 yards a catch. Now, I thought it was interesting that the Rams threw the ball on first down. We knew they'd have to do that because the Cowboys love to play the run on first down. Unfortunately, they threw to Everson Walls' side, and it's a pretty difficult side to run on.
You know, we might have a real fun football game because the coaches up at the stadium, we're told now, cannot communicate with the bench. Ha! That could lighten things up.
Yeah, I like that. And we can't hear old Jim, too. I'm going to miss Jim. Come on, Jim. Now, I'm into sign language.
Teams are now
Oh, boy. Now he's got it.
Good news from down in the field. Jim Tunney telling us that the coaches can now communicate with the sidelines. It would have been much more fun the other way. Johnny Robinson said, I don't understand him anyway. All right, set to go once again. 2nd down and 10. Ferragamo didn't play that much in preseason. Jeff Kemp saw a lot of duty as the backup quarterback, but Johnny Robinson knows what Ferragamo can do. He knows what Eric Dickerson can do. Dickerson did not go that much in preseason either. On 2nd and 10, again, Ferragamo with a lot of time, but nevertheless, he gets dragged down. It was Mike Hegman on the blitz from the left side linebacker position, and Ferragamo loses about 4 yards back inside his own 20-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down. A long, big change for the Cowboys. They bring in 7 defensive backs. All the linebackers come out. They bring in Victor Scott, a rookie from Colorado, and Dexter Clinkscale at the linebackers. Then they have Walls and Fellows and Carl Howard as the cornerbacks. They cover the wide receivers. And then they also bring in Dennis Thurman. He joins Michael Downs as safety. So that is what Ferragamo is looking over on a 3rd down and 14. And the Cowboys don't mind blitzing either. Here they come. Ferragamo reads it quickly, fires to Ellard. Ellard upended.
Tackle.
Good tackle against Ellard by Michael Downs. And the Rams, first possession, will have to punt away.
Not too terribly surprised. We talked to Coach Robinson this morning, O.J., and you played with him too, but he says the best way to do that run, set up that run, is to pass. They come out and try to throw 3 of them, right?
Gary Allen, dangerous return man. The Cowboys got him last year. Probably the most dangerous return man they've had in years. John Misko does the punting for the Los Angeles Rams. Allen back around his own 30-yard line. Misko hits a beauty. It hangs up there forever. And Allen did not go for the fair catch, and that ball hung up there by Misko, seemingly for an eternity, and it allowed hustling Ivory Solly to get down under it. Now, let's take a look at Gary Hogeboom. We told you a little bit about him in the tees during the preseason. He was out for a couple of weeks, did not perform that well. Against Houston last week, he came on and rallied the Cowboys, 7 of 12, 130 yards, 1 touchdown, that in the second half. But in all the regular season play of 4 years, he's 14 of 25, 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. That's the extent of his play. On first down and 10, Hogeboom fires right over the middle, and he gets rid of the butterflies as he gets it to Cosby for a gain of about 6 yards. Defensively for the Rams, they don't have much of a pass rush, and what they do have comes from Jack Youngblood, who's getting up there in age, but nevertheless is a fine physical specimen still. Linebackers, they're good against the run. The corners are fairly strong, and Gary Green on the left corner is a superb athlete acquired offseason from Kansas City. He was somebody that Robinson knew he had to have. He gave a first-round pick and a fifth-round pick to get Gary Green. It's second down and 5. The ball at the 30-yard line for the Cowboys. That's Newsom in motion. This is Dorsett. And Dorsett at the line of scrimmage, taken out of bounds. Gary Green up from the left corner there defensively, getting help from the inside.
Now tell me, Don, now Dallas, I know they like to shift a lot. They shift 3 guys. They moved about 4 different times, and not one Ram moved.
Well, and they didn't pick up anything, so maybe it didn't work that time. But they've got kind of this new thing called the rover, and I'm not sure what all that means, but I know they're trying to get Ron Springs to play that tight end position a little bit, so we'll see if it works again.
Rams change on third down and a long 5. Out come a couple of linebackers, and they bring in a couple of extra defensive backs. Mainly Vince Newsom, he's back there in their 5-back defense. Hogeboom from the shotgun. He's got a strong arm.
He sure does.
And he almost threw that one out of the stadium. Not a bad choice, however. Both receivers, principally Doug Cosby, well covered by the Rams defense. Cosby looking back, saying, come on over here, Gary. Let's have a little word or two.
It'd be much better the next time they get the ball, Frank. I don't care who you are. You know, the kid comes out, and he knows what's been going on down there in Dallas, and it's going to be hard. That ball, it was going up when he went over the sideline.
Henry Ellard led the NFL a year ago in punt returns, although you saw he didn't return that many. Had a 13.6 average. Great speed. This is Jim Miller. Kicks with the bare foot, as you can see. Almost got a block. He had to hurry it. It's low, the kind you can run back. And Ellard, although he did not get much of a return, it was a low, short kick, and the Rams will have good field position at the 38-yard line. Opening season for the Rams and the Cowboys, and we'll be returning to Anaheim on a beautiful Southern California night in just a moment. 3-1. They defeated Houston last week in a bit of a struggle. The Rams were 2-2. Johnny Robinson apparently not taking it all that serious as he was looking at a lot of people and splitting the time between quarterbacks Vince Ferragamo and Jeff Kemp. Jeff Kemp coming on to earn that solid backup quarterback role.
All right, now they're going to see some running.
On first and 10 at the 36-yard line, Eric Dickerson back in that deep tailback spot. And he gets his first attempt of the night. And the big man breaks it back, and he's collected there by John Dutton, the defensive left tackle for the Cowboys, after a gain of about a yard. Eric Dickerson, as I mentioned at the very top of the season, stunned everyone when he came in as the #1 draft pick a year ago. 1,808 yards. OJ, that's not bad duty for a rookie.
Yeah, he's great. He's got good vision. He reacts well. Like, even on that play, he gained 1 yard, but right away he saw the key block on the outside backer that they were supposed to kick him out. They didn't make the block. He turned it up and got a yard.
Not bad on durability. He carried the ball at NFL record 390 times. They mark it near the 38. A pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8. Ferragamo tries to get it to Drew Hill. And Drew Hill, who goes about a tall 5'9", and I think there are stretching matters with Drew Hill, could not get up for it. I'd be just a little shaky here in the opening going. Season opener, national television, and so much is on the line for both teams. I would have to say the pressure, of course, enormous on the Cowboys, coming off a season last year that had to be a tremendous disappointment, not only to the Cowboy organization. A new one now under Bum Bright. But also to their head coach, Tom Landry. Third down, out of the shotgun, 3rd and 8. Ferragamo fires incomplete. It was Dickerson coming out of the backfield from the wing spot. And that was one he could have had, and it could have been deep in Cowboy territory. But again, it'll be 4th down, and John Misko will come on once again.
Pretty good coverage, though, that time. Dexter Klingspiel had him. He had plenty of time to throw, and he just couldn't shake Dexter all the way.
Well, it's apparent what they're going to do is throw the ball and try to loosen up all of these defensive backs on both teams. And I think as the game goes on, you'll see Dorsett and Dickerson get a little more room to run in.
Misko, who had a tremendous punt on his first effort, gets another high hanging punt, this time a little shorter, and Misko has wised up from his past experience, calls for the fair catch, and takes it at the 25-yard line. 37-yard punt. And there is Tom Landry in his 25th year as the Cowboys coach. The Rams and the Cowboys in the early going with 12-11 remaining in the first quarter and no score. A little bit like a heavyweight championship fight. Both kind of feeling each other out. And Gary Hogeboom is feeling out a very strange position, the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. First down and 10, the Cowboys near their own 25-yard line. Look out. And Hogeboom,
That's the fumble.
does not get that off and is taken by Jack Youngblood.
Make things happen on defense.
Youngblood got in there on Hogeboom.
Was it Jack Youngblood that hit him, or did somebody came from the other side? There was nobody that blocked him.
They're doing what you should do, and that is an inexperienced quarterback like Hogeboom put the blitz on, and
No,
that is
that's
the outside
Andrews.
linebacker, Andrews. Now Jack Youngblood, who is usually around the football, in a full sprint, picks it up in good stride, and he is tackled and taken down by Kurt Peterson, but not until he gets to the 2-yard line.
Well, we said the Rams didn't have much of a pass rush. Last year they didn't. In the preseason, they've had 11, and John Robinson told us this morning, Don, that they weren't going to blitz that much, but they never tell us
The coaches, they'll trick you every now and then.
Interesting, the Cowboys had Springs out in the pass pattern in motion. Tony Dorsett went out into the flat to the left. No one was there to take Andrews. He had a clean shot at Hogeboom, who could not get that arm in motion.
So that means the quarterback has to read that blitz on a back out. He turned his back to him, didn't see him coming, Frank. So that's a mistake by Gary.
First down, goal to go. Mike Gooman, 44. Barry Redden in there now. Here comes Dickerson.
There goes Dickerson.
Into the end zone. The Rams capitalizing on the first turnover of the game. Good blitz by Andrews. Fumble recovery and run by Jack Youngblood. One play from scrimmage, and Dickerson gets into the end zone.
Let's take a look at him. He's running behind one of the bigger, stronger offensive lines in football. Is very rarely are there any penetration. That penetration came from the outside, and Dickerson with the quick feet and the, well, they call it a smell for the end zone, a nose for the end zone, and just dived right in there.
That was Michael Downs who came up on Dickerson, O.J., and Downs a good tackler, but it was almost an instinctive move you only see with great runners. Dickerson planted that left foot, drilled it to the inside, into the end zone.
Well, you can see that the Cowboys have been practicing all week. Turn Dickerson up. We don't want him to get outside, and that's 2 runs. They turned him up.
Lansford, Mike Lansford, drills it through the uprights, and the Rams have a 7-0 lead. One turnover. One play later, the Rams are in the end zone. They lead the Cowboys 7-0. We'll be right back in just a moment. Mike Lansford to kick off. Gary Allen, number 31, is back there with Ron Fellows for the Cowboys. Allen hit 91 yards to the Cowboys a week ago against Houston in a kickoff return that was called back. But he is a dangerous threat. Lansford puts it up high. Here comes Fellows.
That's when the flag's go. I swear.
Flag is down, and Fellows is down at the 17-yard line.
You can count on it. Way to go, Gene.
Harry Dickerson set all those records down at your school, Don, and got himself in the record book a couple of times last year. Remind you, Thursday night we'll be back at the Meadowlands for the Steelers against the Jets. And then a week from tonight up in San Francisco, the Redskins against the San Francisco 49ers in a rematch of the NFC Championship game of a year ago, in which 49ers, quite frankly, could have won at the very end of that game. 2 good ones coming your way in just a matter of 7 days. Following the assessment, the Cowboys have the ball near their own 7-yard line. Gary Hogeboom on the spot. That springs in motion. This is Dorsett.
Look out. That was close.
Dorsett almost popped that one for much more. He gets 8.
He really did.
Close to the 15-yard line. Upset there by Eric Harris.
Gain of 8 yards. Second and 2.
Look at the hole coming up the middle. This is a little quick fake to the outside. Good move on the inside there. Good block on Carl Eckert, 55. And Carl came back just at the last minute. Number 55 and tripped Tony up. There was a hole there, wasn't it?
2 years ago, we saw the same play against the Vikings, and he went 99 yards for a touchdown. A quick toss to Dorsett. And Dorsett up close to first down yardage. He may be short. Good hustling pursuit defense on the part of the Rams. Mel Owens sliding out there. Jack Youngblood trailing it out. And Jim Collins coming from across the field.
You have to give Tony Hill a lot of credit there. They normally don't ask those wide receivers to come out and crack back, and he came and put a real nice crackback block on Mel Owens. Enabled him to get outside.
Now, they ask him to do that a lot, but they just don't do that.
I don't know if I would have Tony Hill do it, because if this team lose Tony Hill, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, that's a good point, because Drew Pearson is gone, and, of course, Butch Johnson is gone. And, they got a first down.
Tony squeezes it out.
Doug Donnelly's the guy that's they're counting on, O.J. He's got the speed, the white lightning on the outside, so if they can have some production out of him, that's going to really help a lot.
Yeah, but he's been a little injury prone.
He really has. I don't think he's caught a pass the whole preseason.
The first down is at the 17-yard line. Sun just starting to set out here in the west. Very warm evening, but the humidity not too high. The temperature between 80 and 85 degrees. Doug Donnelly, 83, top of your screen. There's Hogeboom. We'll try again. Has the time, checks off to Dorsett, and Dorsett down the sideline, taken out of bounds at the 19-yard line, 3 yards short of the first down, hit there by Mel Owens.
That was a nice job, in my opinion, of Hogeboom coming off to the third receiver. He was trying to get Springs coming back in a little delay, drag-in pattern. It was defensed pretty well, had a good drop. It looked to me by Mel Owens, the linebacker, so he just laid off to Tony Dorsett. You don't want to try to force that ball in there, although that's one of the reasons I'm told that Gary's playing, that he can drill it between the linebackers.
Third down, long 3 for the Cowboys. Second down, rather. Tony Hill now split to the left, Donnelly to the right, and Dorsett. He's hard to bring down. He finds the first down marker and steps out of bounds beyond it for another Cowboy first down. Mel Owens again defensively there for the Rams.
It's a good example of Tony's balance. He gets hit cleanly on the shoulder pads by 2 backs, but he gets his body at the right body lean, and he delivers the blow. A good back will always deliver the blow. Watch this. Bam, he delivered the blow. He bounced off the guy, always keeps his feet moving, and George Allen says it's best, I guess, when they said about Tony's size. They said it doesn't really matter how big or little you are if you can't catch you, know. And, and Tony, if he can get some room, he'd be hard to catch.
28-yard line. First down, Cowboys are down 7-0. 10:29 remaining in the first quarter. Season opener for the Rams and the Cowboys. Hogeboom, play action to Dorsett. Man wide open. That's Cosby.
All right.
And Hogeboom found him quickly, fired it on a string, and Cosby gets into Ram territory near the 44-yard line before he's upset by Nolan Cromwell.
Expecting really big things with Cosby. He's the guy that's kind of quietly moved in and is doing a terrific job, and they expect him to go a lot. Look, well, that was ball. Mel Owens was in there, number 58. That's blitzing the linebacker again. That ball was drilled in good shape. But Cosby's, we're going to hear a lot of him today.
You see, he beat Carl Erkin, and Carl Erkin was probably concerned with that play-action fake because Tony almost broke one on him.
That's right.
That was Mel Owens who decked Hogeboom after he completed the pass. He'll learn to back out of there a little more quickly. On 1st and 10, play action again by Hogeboom. Gets the screen out to Dorsett. He has men in front of him.
Slide.
And a good defensive play by George Andrews.
It was. That, to me, O.J., was a slight hesitation on Tony's part that maybe he didn't need that time.
Yeah, well, you know what? He was looking for the guard to kick out the outside guy. When the guard went to hooking, it threw him off a little bit. I think he wanted to turn up immediately, and the guard sort of hooked him. Well, I'll always blame it on the other guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Those running backs said, I thought you were going to block him this way instead of that way.
Tony got 3, so it'll be 2nd down and 7. He could have got much more, but for a fine effort by Andrews, who already has caused one Cowboy fumble that led to the Rams touchdown. They lead 7-0 inside 10 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. 2nd down and 6.
Uh-oh.
And
he almost started at quarterback, as a matter of fact. The guy that just jumped off sides, the first announcement was his Paz Derek. So they decided to play him at left tackle. He's so big, he played it where he wants to.
They'll back them up as Danny White, who was bitterly disappointed with being set down, said as much, said he did not agree with it, but said he will do whatever he can to help the Cowboys.
So a shot of Jim Schaffner there also, Frank, and this is something they're trying this year. They've tried it before and haven't stuck with it, but they're signaling the plays in rather than alternating. But they're still sending them in. That's Jim Schaffner right there.
2nd down now and about 12. The ball at the 46-yard line of the Rams. Dorsett. Another little opening that Tony kind of squirted through for a gain of about 3 or 4 yards, but it'll leave Gary Hogeboom in a passing situation, 3rd and about 7.
Doug Donnelly. Well, man, you don't see it, but Doug Donnelly was down blocking on Leroy Irvin.
Irvin got the best of that
He
one, though.
said, did you leave me alone, Donnelly?
Well, when you got great backs, you tell your receivers you got to block the back downfield for them, and that's what Donnelly was trying to do.
That's right.
3rd down and 7. Cowboys receivers all over the field. The Rams in their prevent defense, and Hogeboom out of the shotgun. Hogeboom right into the hands of number 27, Gary Green, the former All-Pro from Kansas City that John Robinson needed so desperately that he gave up a 1st and a 5th-round draft pick, but that is not a credit so much to Gary Green as Gary Hogeboom hit him right in the hands.
He really did, and it appeared from up here that Cosby was open on the inside. We'll see if we get a better view of it out here. Gary's kind of zeroed in on him now. He didn't take his eyes off of him, and that's something that experience does come in. You lead that defense right over to the guy you're going to throw to. Look at Tony. Way to go, Tony D.
Tony gets a chance to get even with some of these guys.
Right.
Rams get another turnover. They get good field position. They'll be inside the Cowboys' 45-yard line. They lead 7-0, 8-10 remaining in the first quarter. Gary Green, the left cornerback for the Rams. For 7 years, he worked that position for the Kansas City Chiefs. The last 3 times he was in the Pro Bowl. Has given the Rams an interception, a turnover that has brought the ball back to the Cowboys' 44-yard line. Not a well-thrown pass by Gary Hogeboom, who's had his problems here in the early going. On 1st and 10, Dickerson right up the middle behind Doug Smith, Dennis Hara, and Kent Hill. Gets a couple, and that's it. Randy White, Brunig, Dutton closing that off.
Well, we got a couple of interesting matchups up front. You got Jackie Slater going against Ed Tootal, and thus far Tootal has been getting the best of that. And of course, Randy White, he's been back in camp a week, and he's going against an All-Pro and Kent Hill, and that should be interesting as the game goes.
Randy White, of course, 54. Tootal Jones, number 72. And Randy White, keep in mind, has not had the workout, the training camp. It is a very warm night. It'll be interesting to see how long that Randy White can go. 2nd down and 8. The ball inside the 43-yard line. Cowboys showing blitz. Now they step out of it. Now they call it off. Ferragamo changing up at the line of scrimmage, but he leaves Walls in individual coverage against Ellard, and Ferragamo able to get the ball there. Short of a 1st down, it'll be 3rd down and about 4. Cowboys had the blitz on, and there is a flag down now. Procedure call, and Ferragamo was well, he was indecisive in making that change, and I think it caused some of his linemen to adjust their stance, and thus we're going to have the procedure call against the Rams.
Talking to Johnny, Coach Robinson, about Ferragamo this morning, he's been called.
5 yards. Still 2nd down.
See there? Right. He says there's been a lot of quotes in the papers. The first one thing, Ferragamo kind of lives in his own little world out there. So Coach Robinson and I figured out what it was. He's one of your right side of the brain operators. He works over on the right side of his brain. You know, he dreams a lot over there.
Well, right now he's going to be working on a 2nd down and 13 rather than a 3rd down and 4. Cowboys up there tight again against the Rams. Ferragamo dropping back. Checks off to Dickerson.
Yeah.
To the right guy.
That's right. Bob Brunig was out there.
Oh, what he does to an open field.
Brunig was about 5 steps late.
Not only was he 5 steps late, what you love to see in a back is he can see the whole field. He runs by Brunig. He does a little side stance on Anthony Dickerson, his namesake. They're not related, but they're both from the Texas area. I guess they played together at SMU one season.
Indeed they did.
But the guy can do it all. He caught over 50 passes last year, which is almost unheard of when you talk about a back that is considered a home run hitter like he is.
He accounted for over 80% of his total offensive yardage. That is amazing.
19-yard pickup. First down, Rams. They lead 7-0. The ball inside the 28-yard line of the Cowboys.
I'm into statistics.
Ferragamo again, a lot of time. Good protection as he had all last year. Tried to get the ball to the tight end, David Hill, who, of course, is in there. If you follow the Rams, you know that their leading receiver, Mike Barber, from a year ago. Bad knee, surgery. He's out. Could be coming back sometime around October. There's Mike Lansford, preseason, 2 out of 4. Won his job back late last year after tearing up his knee a year ago. And, of course, he kicked that memorable 42-yarder against New Orleans to put the Rams in the playoffs on the final Sunday of last season. So he can make it. On 2nd and 10. Dickerson, big opening right side.
Look at this.
Look at him bounce off Dickerson. He'll have the first down. He spotted the first down marker, stepped inside it.
You don't like to see that, do you?
I love to see it.
Isn't that fun?
The kid can do it all. He can run over guys. Now watch him. He has an acceleration, sort of a draw play here. He sees the hole real well, zips through there, and here's what he can do. Not only can he fake you, but if you don't have any position on him, he'll just bump off you. Nice stiff arm. The guy has it all.
Watch Ron Fellows. Ron Fellows, pretty good tackler ordinarily. He comes up, and he's like not even there. Right there. That's Fellows.
But John Robinson, he knows how to create the atmosphere for great runners. He did it for Marcus Allen at USC, and he's really created a nice atmosphere for Eric here. We'll talk about that in a bit.
First down at the 17-yard line. 6:17 remaining in the first quarter. Ferragamo's back again. Looking into the end zone, and intended for number 80, Henry Ellard, incomplete. A good pass and a good lead. That could have been 6.
Well, I think what happened was Dickerson got a little tied up at the line of scrimmage, and when you practice a play, your timing is such you know when to let it go, and he let it go a little too soon. I guess he threw it right, but Dickerson got a little tied up. There was a little congestion there when he turned up at the line of scrimmage.
Ferragamo now 2 of 7 for 30 yards, but the big thing is they're not relying on Eric Dickerson as much as they did last year. Johnny Robinson told us as much this morning. He wanted to be able to put the ball deep downfield, whether they completed it or not. He wanted the opposition to regard the Rams as a deep passing team. He feels that will open things up for Eric Dickerson. On 2nd and 10, this is Dickerson. Dickerson
Look at
in
Randy.
the arms of Randy White. Dickerson, nevertheless, stretches for a couple, and Tipper's flaring.
Well, Randy kind of pushed Dickerson. Randy pushed Dickerson's leg. Dickerson kicked him. Randy pushed him, and the one thing the Rams is not going to have happen is anybody mess with Eric Dickerson.
That's Jackie Slater, and you might recall early in the year, a year ago, he pushed Art Gastineau of the Jets and started off a rhubarb that almost emptied Shea Stadium.
Now watch here. Watch Dickerson if we stay with him. Dickerson will kick him right about now. Yeah, here we go, and he hits the leg, and a little slow motion in there.
Slater tried to push Randy White off Dickerson, and just a little shoving. Cooler heads prevailed, and it's 3rd down and 8. All resting close to the 15-yard line.
I want to be the first to say this is a big down. Look out.
Ferragamo complete to Ellard.
Oh, good hit.
And Ellard is popped rather severely.
Oh, that's Dennis Thurman.
He got a little late flag there in the secondary. Came after the tackle.
That did come down late.
That could be a pick back there because there's a lot of crossing. Yep.
I think that might be it.
So happy. You see that so many times, and they say, hey, not me, that's my pass route. But basically what they're saying is one receiver comes in, tries to run his route in the direction and pick that defender off so he can't get over to cover the guy going to the outside.
Basically, just like a basketball pick. They're discussing it now as we look down from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia. Our cameraman up there, Archie Griffin, tonight. Again, it's a spectacular night here in Southern California.
I thought that was going to be the replay. I was going to get to see the pick from up there. There's no way I can see the pick from up there.
We'll get the card here.
Here's Jim Tunney.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 84. Decline. 4th down.
That's George Farmer. We'll see if indeed it was a pick. There he is working against Everson Walls. Yeah, that's indeed what it is. I mean, he is screening Everson Walls, so the Walls could not change off and pick up Ellert, and they picked it up. Now we have Mike Lansford on 4th down, an attempt at 31 yards. Nolan Cromwell, who's been known to do other things besides hold the football, he has run the ball and he's passed the ball from this position. He will place it down, and Mike McDonald will do the snapping.
Right through the middle.
Lansford moves the Rams out on top, 10-0. Again, this drive began with a turnover, and the Rams lead the Cowboys 10-0, 5:25 remaining the first. The Cowboys down to the Rams 10-0, and one has to be wondering what's going through the mind of Gary Hogeboom. He turned it over in a fumble. He's turned it over in an interception. The Rams picked up 10 points out of it. And now his job to bring the Cowboys back. Mike Lansford to kick off. Gary Allen is deep, along with Ron Fellows. The Cowboys would like to see Gary Allen handling the football. So the Rams kick it to Ron Fellows.
Almost. Yeah, he's still going. Good move.
Fellows had an opening. If he could have got through it, he would have been long gone. He was taken to the outside, however, but still gets to the 25-yard line. And Don, you took over from Eddie LeBaron some years back.
I did. The only thing I can say that the Cowboys have become a little bit more structured, and by that I mean Gary doesn't have a lot of options in there. Those plays are preset before they get in there, and I know him pretty well, and the kid's really confident, and he knows he can throw the ball. So I would guess that what's going through his mind right now, he needs a hit. It's like, I better, not a home run, let me get a single. So it'll all work out for him. I don't think he's going to have any major problems right now.
First down and 10, the Cowboys at their own 25-yard line. Inside handoff, Ron Springs gets out of a little bit of trouble, finds a lot more out of the right side, and also a flag. Springs to the line of scrimmage, taken there by Carl Eckern.
Well, this Ram team is a tough team to run against. They were 6th in the NFL in defense against the run last year. They had to shore up that pass defense, and getting Gary Green has certainly helped that. It enables those linebackers to even play more aggressive on the run when you got a cornerback that can take one of your receivers out of the game. I don't know how Kansas City could lose a guy like that as we look at the coach.
For a 1st and 5th.
The options being discussed with the Cowboys, and they will take the mark off, and Jim Tunney will tell us about it.
Illegal block in the back, 10 yards, till first down.
Frank, this is what I think bothers Hogeboom more than anything, because this is not what you expect. You don't go out there with a 1st and 20 on your mind. And what he went out there to do was run their game plan. So the problems he's now got to have some kind of support from everybody else around him.
Tell me which quarterback this would not bother.
Well, that's true, but you're talking about him out there for his first night. Maybe a little bit more for him because he hasn't been in that situation that many times.
First down and 20. The ball inside the 15-yard line following the assessment. Donnelly split to the right. That's Tony Hill. Top of your screen. That's Ron Springs in motion. Here comes Tony Dorsett, and he's taken down from behind. Good play, Jack Youngblood in his 14th year, and he's still the spirit of that defensive line.
They gave Jack a little bit more leeway than some of the other defensive linemen because of his experience. So he can kind of adjust his own charge or move on occasions. He doesn't line up exactly the same place all the time. That time he made a good move, guessed right, went inside and came back.
Cowboys on the move, but they are not moving in the right direction.
I think they have one major problem that they're doing. They're trying to do too much finesse stuff, reverses and pulling. They're going to have to put the helmets, tighten them up, and just go at the Rams here for a few plays. Maybe not right now.
Second down and 28. The Cowboys at their own 7-yard line.
If they don't do that well.
Hogeboom from the end zone. It's a middle screen, Dorsett.
Safe.
And he runs into a bunch of Rams led by Eckern and Collins, the 2 inside linebackers. He gets about 6 yards when he needed a bundle.
Gain of 6 yards.
When you're throwing the ball downfield and you're completing those intermediate passes and you're running for 6, 7, 8 yards, then you really have a lot of success with those reverses and all those cute plays. And Dallas, I don't think, has established any of those other plays yet to be trying to run so much cute stuff, especially against a good disciplined team like this.
Rams move into a 4-man front as opposed to their 3-4 defense. Doug Reed, the rookie from San Diego State, at defensive end in there now. Vince Newsom comes in to be the 5th back. 3rd down, 21. Hogeboom back again. Another screen. And it's Dorsett once again. Dorsett gets back to the original line of scrimmage, gives up the football. The Rams are saying they have it, and they do. Another turnover. It was Nolan Cromwell who put the hit on Dorsett. Cromwell with a good pop on Dorsett. The ball comes loose and picked up there by Eric Harris, who is playing for an injured Johnny Johnson, one of the other Rams that they know they're going to miss a Pro Bowler. But Eric Harris, following a hit by Cromwell, turns it over for the Rams once again.
Tony, when he first came in, kind of had a name for fumbling, and yet last year carried the ball or handled the ball 330-something times and only fumbled 5. So he's getting better, but he started off now with a fumble.
I can't help but harken back to our season opener with the Cowboys and the Redskins a year ago, when the Cowboys got themselves down by more than 20 points in the first half, and somehow they pulled it together to win that one 31-30. But they are digging themselves a big hole in this one. Dickerson. Power running inside the 20 for a gain of about 6 to the 18-yard line. And there is Eric Harris, who is filling that spot for Johnny Johnson. Actually, Nolan Cromwell was playing the strong safety when Johnson was hurt. Harris went to strong safety and Cromwell went back to free safety. And Tony Dorsett now being treated on the sidelines. They're looking at his left eye.
Smelling sauce there. He must have come down on the back of his head.
2nd down and 4. Ferragamo again with a lot of time.
Got him.
And this time in the end zone, bobbling the ball, however, that was the speedster, Ron Brown, gold medalist in 4x100 in the recently concluded Olympics. I think he was 4th through in the 100, wasn't he, O.J.?
Yes, he was 4th in the 100. He's maybe one of the 5-6 fastest humans in the world, and he had his guy beat. It was a zone defense, and he was wide open, and Ferragamo sort of let him a little too much. He almost made a nice catch out of it, though. He's a little concerned about keeping his feet in bounds and stop concentrating on the ball, but I don't think he could have caught it anyway.
You know, he was from Arizona State. He played a defensive back there for 3 years, only 1 year as a wide receiver. He has great athletic skill, and somewhere down the line, he could turn into one of the great ones. 3rd down and 4 now for the Rams. They work from the shotgun. They lead 10-0. Ferragamo, this one bobbled as big Ed Jones, who does that so consistently over the years, stuck the big hand out there, reached over a blocker, batted it away.
He did make a good move because Slater was on him pretty well, had him pushing to the outside, and by the last edge just stuck that big paw out and caught Vince's arm. Well, they've had 2 big turnovers down there, and it looks as if they're only going to come away with 6 points on each of the last 2 turnovers, and that, if anything, is a plus for Dallas.
Lansford once again. He's hit from 31 yards out. This attempt from 36 yards out.
36-yard field goal.
Long count, and offsides would have given the Rams a 1st down. And Lansford is good from 36 yards out. It's been all the Rams here in the opening moments. The Cowboys causing their own headaches. A fumble by Gary Hogeboom in the opening moments, trying to pass the football. An interception by Hogeboom that was picked off by Gary Green. A fumble by Dorsett. And the Rams have piled up 13 points. Johnny Robinson, great years, 7 years at USC. Turned out a national championship, an undefeated team. And this is the young man who is going to try to climb out of the hole that the Cowboys have dug.
Don, could they have a problem all week long? We've been hearing about Hogeboom and White. It seems to me that maybe the rest of the guys on the team have forgotten that, hey, they got a tough game. The emphasis wasn't on the Rams as much as it was on the quarterback controversy.
Well, they're looking for grabbing for straws down there right now. So that was one of them to jump on for a while. They've all got to play better. They haven't been running the ball well last 3 games of last season. They haven't run that well in preseason.
Lansford kicks away. Gary Allen is deep along with Ron Fellows, and we'll watch Ron Fellows once again. Fellows stays on his feet, struggles out over the 15-yard line. Will be 1st down, Dallas. I'll remind you, a big day here on ABC this Saturday. 4:30 Eastern Time, it'll be ABC Sports Beat, the Emmy Award-winning Sports Beat show with Howard Cosell, followed by Wide World of Sports at 5 o'clock Eastern. Ray Boom Boom Mancini faces Kenny Bogner in a dramatic return to the ring following the loss of his lightweight title. That'll be live from New Orleans. And the World Cycling Championship from Barcelona, Spain. Cyclists from the United States, the Soviet Union, and East Germany at an international field of the world's best. And at 8 o'clock Eastern, live from Birmingham, Alabama, it'll be a beauty. Boston College versus Alabama. Doug Flutie, of course, leading Boston College against Ray Perkins, Alabama Crimson Tide, the kickoff of our CFA college football coverage. Coming up this Saturday on ABC. On first down and 10, Hogeboom is back. Dumps it off to Dorsett, down the sideline, wisely steps out of bounds before the hit, short of the first down, near the 25-yard line.
Boom, boom versus bang, bang. That should be a good one this weekend.
And one of them is going to go thump, thump.
Oh, I don't think it's going to last that long.
And you're going to see it live.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, they're
Bang,
not going to
bang.
go 15 rounds, that's for sure.
A market inside the 24-yard line, so it'll be second down and about 2. Again, a capacity crowd on hand tonight. The Rams gave them a lot of thrills last year, headed, of course, by Eric Dickerson as they went to the NFC Conference Championship, where they were blown out by the Washington Redskins. Ron Springs into the wingback spot. There's Hogeboom. Looks for a receiver, and he finds Crosby. And did he have possession? There's a scramble for it.
I'm telling you, they have done.
He did have possession. That ball,
he took a step or two.
fortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, went out of bounds. And the Rams unable to gain possession of it, but they will lose about 3 yards. From the reverse angle, you get a good look at the hit provided by Eric Harris on Cosby. There comes Harris. He hit the ball with his fist. Out it comes. And if the Rams could have got it, they would have been in great shape once again, and they almost did.
Well, the Rams haven't been fooled by anything. They really have this team well scouted. Marv Goo told me today they didn't want him to score early because they felt Landry gets impatient and would start throwing the bomb, and they wanted him to do that.
Third down and 6. Springs now to the far outside. Tony Hill's in the slot.
They're zoning on both sides. Right there it is.
And the ball is complete. Gets it out to Tony Hill. He has the first down. He's out over the 30-yard line. And this is what the Cowboys would like to be doing with consistency.
Well,
putting Hill and Springs down there in short turn-ins, splitting the zone of the Rams, and giving Gary Hogeboom a chance to calm down.
Well, they haven't been trying that. They've been trying a lot of trick stuff, and they haven't been running that many basic plays, have they done?
Well, they really haven't, but they're getting something going. We're going to talk about the offensive line in a moment.
On first down, John Springs over the right side. He gains a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. Again, it is a beautiful night. We saw so many of them in our recently concluded Olympic coverage. Just flying out here brought back a lot of the thrills and excitement that O.J. and I shared, along with the rest of our ABC staff. And, of course, with the millions here at home and the billions around the world.
I was one of those.
Springs got a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Dorsett, the single setback. Hogeboom back, trying to get it deep. That's Donnelly.
Beautiful.
The speedster from Ohio State. They're marking it as a completion at the 25-yard line. The crowd is saying no. He was in the arms of Leroy Irvin, who was right with him, but that was a well-thrown ball to Doug Donnelly, who has a lot of speed.
I think that was his first catch, if I'm not mistaken, of the preseason. He's been hurt, as O.J. mentioned earlier in the game, but Leroy's got him right there. O.J. it's a foot race, and just Donnelly's fast.
It's decent coverage, but as impressive as the throw was, the catch is equally as impressive. Look, that's a beautiful catch over the wrong shoulder.
He had it.
They say the ground cannot cause a fumble, and that's the case there. That's why it wasn't considered a fumble.
Right.
Cowboys making their first move of the evening. They're close to the 25-yard line of the Rams. They'll have to hurry to get this off before the quarter expires, and they do not. The Rams, on the strength of 3 turnovers, lead the Cowboys 10-0. But the Cowboys have 13-0, but the Cowboys are threatening. Frank Gifford along with Don Meredith and O.J. Simpson looking on as the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams kick off their 1984 season. And it's not going well for the Cowboys. They trail 13-0. There is score by quarters. They have not been a first quarter scoring team, these Dallas Cowboys. Their opponents, however, have done well. The Cowboys have been, however, explosive in the second, and they have good field position to kick off this second period. They are inside the 26-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams. 3 turnovers have plagued the Cowboys thus far. That Donnelly up to the top of your screen. Ron Springs will be moving all around, number 20, and Dorsett is nailed right at the line of scrimmage with all that movement. Greg Meisner didn't even see it. He made the stop. Let's take a look at the numbers. Been all passing for the Dallas Cowboys. Hogeboom has completed just about everything, including one to Gary Green. The Rams have taken the turnovers and capitalized on each one. 2 field goals and a touchdown. Second down and a long 10. Dorsett lost just a little bit on that last play. Donnelly up at the top of the screen. Hogeboom.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Complete to Cosby, and Cosby is down inside the 5-yard line.
Now, that is an example of this fine young arm that we've been hearing about. But as we were talking, this one is thrown right about the only spot it can be. We'll see this side of it. It's zipped right in there. If you'll check, there's some blue jerseys pretty close in there. Threw over one, in front of one, and behind one. Good throw. Cosby's going to be the guy I think is going to be a real key to whatever offense they have this year, because they're not going to be able to double the 2 outside receivers. He's caught 4 passes tonight.
And he works well down in close, too, because he is a battler for the ball. The Cowboys now with a first down goal to go near the 5-yard line of the Rams. Dorsett, they tried a little
look at that.
And he stripped for the ball.
No.
Stripped for the ball, and the Rams have it.
Oh, that is unreal.
Dorsett stripped to the ball as he spun to the outside. 4th turnover, negating what appeared to be a great opportunity for the Cowboys to get on the scoreboard. Cromwell, I believe, came up with it.
Well, let me tell you, in the playoff game...
Carl Eckern put the hit on Dorsett right at the line of scrimmage. Jack Youngblood down there also. Ball comes loose.
Right there. Oh, that's too bad, Tony.
Well, it happens to a back when he's trying to, that extra effort. Tony made a great spin out of there. He could have gotten in the end zone, but he's running without the ball, and you're looking at a lonely Tony Dorsett right there. We'll be back in a minute to see if he can make amends.
I guess you can't fault somebody for extra effort. Tony Dorsett, however, is slight, sent into the middle of that pile. Hit right there, O.J. Spins out.
That was Youngblood that hit him first.
And that's George Andrews that comes and pulls the ball out. But Tony has a patented move that only Tony does. When he gets at the point of contact, he's able to spin, and it worked for him a lot. It would have worked for him then, but unfortunately, he ran without the ball.
And it was Nolan Cromwell who just saw the ball on the turf, everyone ignoring it. He gets the turnover, the 4th of the night. And there is Nolan Cromwell, great all-pro.
At 2 positions, free safety and strong safety.
Switched last year to strong safety, and there's a Pro Bowler there, as he'd been 3 other times at free safety. Rams first down from their own 3-yard line. Dickerson. Dickerson collides there with Ron Fellows, trying to get to the outside, but he picks up about 5 yards. He does it so effortlessly.
Yeah, but he's upset with himself then, because he had Ron Fellows one-on-one just about. Unfortunately, he was running away from the pursuit inside, and he was hoping Fellows would go inside and he'd shoot outside on him. Now watch him here. He should have tried to jump upfield on him. See, he gave him a little inside move. Fellows didn't fall for it, and he was a little off balance trying to get outside there.
Dickerson, 29 yards thus far on 7 attempts. And Tony, of course, can't help but reflect back on what cost the Cowboys almost a sure score. Ferragamo wide open, and he fires it out to the little one, Drew Hill. Drew Hill has first down yardage, but a flag is down at the 20-yard line. Remind you of a game played earlier today. As referee Jim Tunney indicates the offense against the Los Angeles Rams. It was Seattle 33-0 over Cleveland, and perhaps more important, Kurt Warner, we understand, will undergo arthroscopic surgery on his knee tomorrow. We'll have highlights of that action and other action from around the league at halftime from Jim Lampley in New York.
Offense, number 84, half the distance of the goal line, still second down.
George Farmer of the Rams, offensive pass interference.
I'll tell you something, Frank. George Farmer earlier, he got that screening penalty, and I don't think he was really screening. I think he's having trouble getting rid of the bump at the line of scrimmage now. They traded Preston Denard because he couldn't get rid of the man bumping him. I think George Farmer is having a little problem getting rid of the bump at the line of scrimmage.
Penalty, half the distance to the goal. The Rams have a 2nd down and 9 at their own 3-yard line. Dickerson, left side, closing it off. John Dutton coming from defensive left tackle. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Dutton made the stop.
Linebacker Mel Owens, we are told, has some sore ribs they are treating. The shoulder pads are gone. We'll probably not see him tonight. In the wings, Danny White, who in 4 years after replacing Roger Staubach is the 2nd-rated quarterback in the history of the NFL, led the Cowboys to 3 NFC championships. But apparently, Don, they just won't do it down there.
Well, they won an awful lot. I mean, you look at Danny's record, it really is terrific. I don't think you'll see him for a long time unless Hogeboom gets hurt. I don't think Tom would start pulling him in and out.
And we have timeout. It's called by the Los Angeles Rams. Either they have taken a little too much time or Ferragamo was not happy with the personnel he found in the huddle. In any event, we'll be back. And it all came about following turnovers. Dickerson from 2 yards in. That, of course, is following a Jack Youngblood recovery of a fumble that was set off when George Andrews sacked Gary Hogeboom, and the 2 field goals by Mike Lansford. 12 minutes remaining here in the 2nd quarter. The Rams are faced with a 3rd down and 9. The ball near their own 4-yard line. Ferragamo has talked it over with the staff on the sidelines. He keeps the single setback. Eric Dickerson directly behind him. 2 wide receivers split up to the top of your screen. And Ferragamo will put it in the air. Goes a dart underneath, and the dart is complete.
Maybe
and
first.
It goes to Henry Ellard. He's close to a 1st down.
I think he's got it.
Ferragamo had deep receivers. He had a little pressure. He threw underneath to Ellard, and Ellard very close. That could be a big break for the Rams. And the indication is, without a measurement, the Rams will pick up the 1st down. Baseball coming your way. Minnesota for Kansas City. That's in the 5th inning. California and Cleveland are getting it on. They're in the 8th inning with Cleveland leading 6-5. And some more American League action. 5-2. Seattle over Texas in the 4th inning, and a final. Boston over Milwaukee 8-5. The Angels and the Yankees had their own little get-together out here in Anaheim Stadium last night. Might have read about it. They had a little extracurricular activity. 1st down and 10. Ferragamo fires out to Farmer. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Checking out the National League for you. There it is.
How about them Cubs?
And New York loses one they can ill afford to lose. San Diego over Los Angeles. They're in the 4th inning. 6th inning play between Houston and Atlanta. And a final, San Francisco over Cincinnati 4-3. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Rams. On top, 13-0. The ball inside their own 14-yard line. Vince Ferragamo in his 7th year with the Rams. He's known his own quarterback controversy here. Flag is down. Ferragamo fires one, almost intercepted. It could have been quite easily intended for David Hill, and it was Mike Hagman who was right in front of it, but the flag is down. And as you might suspect, the way things are going, it'll work against the Rams.
Ferragamo's 7th year, you mentioned, Frank, but this is only his 2nd time to open a season as a starter.
That's true. I might point out that 42 you see in all the Rams helmets.
81 offense lined up in the zone, offside, decline.
Was the intended receiver, David Hill, who was offside. But that 42 all the Rams are wearing on their helmets is in memory of Kirk Collins, their cornerback of a year ago, who went in for a minor injury and they detected cancer, and a few months later, a young man at the age of 25 was dead because of cancer. And all of the Ram players in his memory are wearing a 42 on their helmet. 3rd down and 10. From the shotgun. Ferragamo gets it underneath. This is Grant.
Well, that's going to help that statistic that you saw a minute ago, their inability to convert these third downs. They're doing a pretty good job on it here tonight.
Looked like to me that he's going to, let's see if let's watch Ed Jones, 72, come back in here. Got a blitz, Scott coming up the middle. Ed Jones almost knocked the ball down at the line of scrimmage. Grant made a good recovery to come back into the middle. As Everson trying to get down here, boy. Whoa.
But the Rams have converted on two third downs. This action began back at their own 3-yard line. Ferragamo now 5 of 14, 57 yards, but he hasn't hurt the Rams. And that was a key completion he had there to Otis Grant. On first down, Eric Dickerson.
Good move.
Wow, what strength and acceleration. Look at this. So much of it on his own. Close to midfield before Dexter Clinkscale holds on and rides him down near the 48-yard line.
That was 5 Cowboys getting upfield, 15 yards down the field. So that means somebody either knocked him down or
Let's
Eric
take a look
did.
at it on this sweep here. One thing every great back must have is the ability to cut back, and he was able to cut back on that one because he saw Bob Unick all the way. He saw no one had picked him up. He was able to cut back on him, the middle backer, and he ran over a few backs, and look at one of the great ones there.
And that is the key to the Cowboys defense. You can't have the middle linebacker overrunning that, and Brunick did. Dickerson gets a breather. Barry Redden is in, the third-year man out of Richmond, and a good runner in his own right. This is Redden out in the flat, and he takes his eyes off the ball before he can tuck it away. So it'll be second down and 10 for the Rams, who still have the Cowboys shut out. They lead 13-0 in the second quarter with 9:27 remaining in the half. Dickerson comes back into the game. He now has 49 yards on 9 carries and 1 touchdown.
And he's doing a good job. This Ram offensive line is doing a good job, unlike the Cowboys offensive line for Dorsett. Because one thing you know, if linemen are tackling the back, that means your offensive linemen are not doing the job. Linebackers should and defensive backs should be tackling back.
Second down and 10. Play action at Ferragamo, and hangs one up. The Clinkscale will intercept. Dexter Clinkscale picks it off. And the Cowboys get a turnover. Clinkscale back to the 40-yard line. Henry Ellard was knocked off. He was the intended deep receiver. And Ferragamo tried to lead him. Ellard collided with a Cowboy, and Clinkscale was all there alone.
You know, let's take another look. I thought it was just a mix-up with a pattern somewhere, Frank. I didn't see Ellard get knocked off because he sure airs it out.
I think Ferragamo was colorblind there because Clinkscale was the only one running upfield, and he probably thought it was his guy.
Well, he did run a good route. There's no question about that.
And he certainly was open.
That's right.
Clinkscale gets the turnover for the Cowboys. They'll have the football near their own 40-yard line when we come back to Anaheim. Good field position following the Dexter Clinkscale interception near their own 40-yard line. Gary Hogeboom, who's had his problems in the early going, is in good field position now.
Interesting formation coming up here.
And that almost picked off. Reggie Doss jumping up and down. He was looking for the end zone right in his hands, intended for Dossett on a little circle, but Doss almost picked it off.
Think you heard footsteps, Don?
No, I think he just wasn't paying attention. He was trying. He was just trying to lay the thing over there. Doss came in from the outside. I don't think he saw it, but
he hasn't caught too many passes.
No, not even too good in the tip drill.
Second down and 10. Hogeboom once again. A lot of time. Dorsett. And Dorsett hit at the line of scrimmage. He sprawls forward for a gain of a yard and a half in the arms of Carl Eckern.
That was a little panic you see kind of setting in there. And it could have been caused because he's trying to get that ball off very quickly. Nobody was open, and he didn't have a very deep drop. You feel all the linemen around you, and it caused you to get a little bit more nervous. He was trying to get rid of that thing. Couldn't find anybody open.
Third down and 8.
Take a little bit deeper drop. That's what this formation does. It already gets him back there. That's the main thing about a shotgun.
Dorsett has 6 receptions, but only 38 yards. Hogeboom, strong arms it. fires a shot downfield that's caught there by Doug Donnelly, who is hit immediately by Eric Harris. Good concentration again by Donnelly, and keep in mind, Donnelly's in there, along with Tony Hill, missing from the Cowboys, along with a host of other players, are Drew Pearson and Butch Johnson. As we look at Donnelly, the former record-setting wide receiver for Ohio State, good concentration there.
What this will help him do also is set up what he likes to do best, and that's to go deep. If you get that real fast receiver to come inside and catch a ball or two, that cornerback can't drop off of you so far.
I mentioned Johnson being gone, Pearson being gone. Also, the big tight end, Billy Joe Dupree, is retired. A lot of changes in these Cowboys. On 1st and 10. Hogeboom under pressure. Fires to the end zone. Looking there for Tony Hill. Gary Green stride for stride, and Hogeboom would have had to have been absolute perfection, as Tony Hill was covered beautifully by Gary Green.
Sometimes you can fall in love with your own arm. If you see, here he was trying to drill that thing in there. Now, if you can do it, it ain't bragging. But another way to get it to that receiver is to lay it out in front of him. And I've said this many times, too. Tony Hill can adjust to a ball as well as anybody I've ever seen downfield. So if he had been able to lead it a little bit more inside, I think Tony could have made that adjustment.
We got a 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 41-yard line of the Rams. 7:28 remaining in the half. The Rams on top, 13-0.
Here
comes the blitz, and Hogeboom reads it quickly, goes to Ron Springs. There, however, is a pickup of only a couple of yards, as tremendous pressure applied on Hogeboom, and Gary Green, of course, playing Springs very tight, knowing he had the help from the pressure of the blitz. Hey, Gary Green is going to make a difference for this Rams team. He already has tonight with the interception that led to a field goal. Great coverage on Tony Hill a few moments ago, one of the most difficult wide receivers in the league to cover, and he was stride for stride with it. 3rd down and 7. Cowboys at the 38-yard line of the Rams. From the shotgun, Hogeboom. Blitz again, Hogeboom hit again, but again he gets the ball off. This time is caught and bounces free, but they will have blown that dead. Tony Hill, the receiver, an 18-yard pickup, and again, Hogeboom, a lot of poise on that, Don.
That's a good check right there, because he did see the blitz coming, and we were talking about Coach Robinson saying bravery. He kept talking about bravery, but look at, there's nobody blocking George Andrews, the linebacker, and Hogeboom can certainly see that, and he stayed in there in good shape, threw the ball. That's a nice move for Gary.
For Tony Hill, his 300th career reception.
He's chasing a couple of pretty good ones.
On 1st and 10, Hogeboom back again. Great catch by Cosby and the Cowboys with no flags down or on the scoreboard. And Gary Hogeboom, who dug a little bit of a hole in the first quarter, is coming out of it. 2 great shots, one for the first down to Tony Hill the play before, and that was a perfect strike to Doug Cosby.
The way you've said it means so much, because the play before we saw him get hit very hard. He comes right back. That ball can't be led anywhere. That ball had to be drilled, and it was. Right there, Cosby didn't break stride. The ball is up high, and he caught it. Good pass play.
Raphael Septian with Gary Hogeboom, the holder for the conversion. So as many as the problems the Cowboys have had, they have had 4 turnovers. They have shortened the Rams' lead to 13-7, and Doug Cosby, who is rapidly approaching all-pro status, is the man that made the catch of a great shot fired by Gary Hogeboom. Starting to darken here in Southern California from the Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. You can see across this vast city. We pan down to Anaheim Stadium, and there is the Columbia with cameraman Archie Griffin aboard, and the Cowboys are set to kick off. Raphael Septian to put it in play. Barry Redden is deep for the Rams. And Redden is in the end zone. He was told to stay in there. I don't know whether he did or didn't.
Safety. He came across. He touched it.
Did they say he came across? He had his foot on the line.
I think he touched the line.
It was very close. Barry Redden was very indecisive, and one of the Rams screamed at him, stay in the end zone. It was a high kick by Septien.
That's not going to be a safety.
Well, that's Gooman. Mike Gooman's telling him to stay in there. I don't think I agree with that. If a back feels he's got to fill in and he wants to come out of there, hey, your job is to turn around and block somebody and not tell him to stay there.
Problem is, if the rest of your blockers have heard somebody yelling at him to stay in the end zone, they're going to be relieved of their duties.
Well, why wouldn't that be a safety? If maybe he didn't break the old
official right on the goal line.
I guess that's it.
He is looking right at the foot. The Rams, 1st and 10, the ball at their own 20-yard line. Dickerson left side. A little bit of an opening that's closed off quickly.
The guy that's got to stop that is Bob Bruning from the middle linebacker. The 4-3, particularly the way Coach Landry has coached it for so many years, is that the defensive line hit those gaps. They try to protect the offense, the middle linebacker. Don't anybody come out and block it. And he's the one who's got to close it off.
Cowboys scoring drive, you saw. That was followed by a turnover. Clinkscale intercepting Ferragamo.
The Cowboys have to be real happy with their defense because they've held the Rams. Rams only have 13 points, and they're still in this game. And Rams have had every break an offense can possibly have.
Dickerson got 4. It's 2nd down and 6. Rams at their own 24. Ferragamo saw the blitz. Nevertheless, he fired as quickly as he could, and he was really hammered.
That was timed well. That was a safety coming in there. Safety blitz. Was that Michael Downs? Who was that king of there? Couldn't see for sure.
He usually is the man. Number 26, Michael Downs.
He's the guy. He timed it just right.
No, Don, you were talking about Bob Brunig. Let me tell you, every great back in the league, every back in the league would rather run against a 4-3 because you can see the linebackers. Running backs run against the linebackers, and you can see him. You're looking at the middle linebacker and the outside back. On the 30, there's too many linebackers to keep track of. 4 of them instead of 3.
Dickerson got 4. It's 3rd down and 6. From the shotgun. Ferragamo has the time. Trying to get it out to Jim McDonald, Otis Grant. And Otis Grant covered very well. He was looking, Otis Grant was, for pass interference.
As that Victor Scott, he's one of the rookies that made the team. He comes in on a special on the passing situations, but he was a draft choice for the Cowboys.
2nd round pick out of Colorado, and the Cowboys use those 7 backs on defense. Quick look at Gary Allen. John Misko to punt for the Rams. Allen back at about his own 40-yard line, and Misko hangs another one way up high. Lots of hang time. Not much Gary Allen could do. Hustling down there for the Rams again was Ivory Sully. So the Cowboys got it back close to their own 30-yard line. That was a 48-yard punt by Misko, but the hang time on it was tremendous.
And the old flag goes up.
I'm looking for a flag. I don't see one.
Yeah, he threw it, but he picked it up again. I don't know.
Well, the other official picked it up. One threw it, and the other one picked it up.
All right.
Cowboys personal foul. They'll be backed up. 4:41 now remaining in the 1st quarter. Tom Landry curious as to what transpired. That's the state of most coaches, I guess.
50. Half the distance of goal line. Time is out.
Jeff Rohrer for the Cowboys, the guilty Cowboy. They move it back half the distance to the goal line. The Cowboys will have a 1st and 10 near their 15. Frank Gifford along with O.J. Simpson and Don Meredith watching the Cowboys and the Rams. Rams on top 13-7 here in the 2nd quarter. 4:41 remaining. A reminder, we'll have some halftime highlights coming your way and a report on that game today. Seattle and Cleveland coming your way from Jim Lampley in New York. So stick around. Right now, Dorsett on 1st down and 10. Tries the right side and gets maybe a yard out of it. Good hustling Ram defense. Strong against the run. Not necessarily so against the pass last year was the Ram defense. They were rated 22nd in the NFL. But tough against the run. They were 6th in the NFL against the rush.
Well, they'll improve against the pass with when you get a guy like Gary Green, a guy that can play one-on-one against your best receiver. You can stick him out there and you can run combinations with the other guys, and that's really going to help that pass defense.
And if they can get Johnny Johnson back, who broke his ankle in the early going of the preseason. They will have a solid secondary to go with a good, strong defensive line. Hogeboom, that's a lateral, but he gets it complete to Dorsett. And Dorsett does his thing down the sidelines. First down yardage, going down in the arms of Gary Green and Carl Eckern, but not until Dorsett is out close to the 35-yard line.
Well, the guy that made that play go was Jim Cooper, the tackle. He got out there. The defensive back was coming up, and he got out there fast enough. He didn't get there to hit the guy, but he got there fast enough to have the guy vary his angle at Dorsett, and Dorsett was able to get inside of him and get upfield for some yardage.
Interesting game. A year ago, we watched the Cowboys in Washington. At halftime, the Cowboys were down 23-3. They came back to win that one 31-30. The 17th victory in 18 years of their season openers. Hogeboom over the middle. Cosby. And Cosby is there for a gain of about 6 out over the 40-yard line in the arms of Carl Eckern of the Rams.
The funny thing about Dallas, they're running some pretty basic stuff now. Early in the game, we commented that they were doing a lot of fancy stuff, but maybe they were running all that fancy stuff earlier in the game to get the Rams' attention, to get them to looking for tricks so that they can go back to these basic things, Don.
Whatever they're doing, I know they had thought about it, and they do that sometimes. They'll try to throw something basic or try to throw something tricky up early.
Timmy Newsome is in there, a good receiver out of the backfield, number 30. He's provided a lot of big plays for Dallas in the late going of games, and at halftime, as we watch Donnelly make the reception, step out of bounds. He should have first down yardage, but more than that, he killed the clock with 2:24 remaining in the half.
That ball didn't take long getting there, I can tell you that.
Now, he does throw a hummer, doesn't he? Of course, the controversy has raged for over a year now between Danny White and Gary Hogeboom. They even went so far as to take a poll of the players. Players saying they preferred Gary Hogeboom. Well, apparently that happened. They polled the fans.
I bet they didn't sign their ballot, though.
First down and 10. Cowboys are near their own 44-yard line. Hogeboom back. Fires another shot. Complete to Donnelly once again, right in front of Leroy Irvin. And so many of these passes he's completed now, he's had to get it in there absolutely perfect, or it would not be a completion.
It's so important to have the speed because they haven't really pressed him yet. And he can turn back right in there. And I tell you, Leroy was pretty close. He wasn't really wide open, was he?
And the 2-minute warning for Doug Donnelly, who did not have a reception in preseason play, injured most of it, has been a factor for the Rams here in the second quarter. 5 years old, so is the Dallas Cowboys franchise. He was born the year it was founded. He is now the starting quarterback under some controversial conditions. Not a bad night if you look at it that way and take away an interception by Gary Green and a fumble that provided a Ram touchdown.
Bad night. That would be a great game. We're not quite at that time.
Would. First down and 10, the Cowboys. 2 minutes remaining in the half. They trail 13-7. The Cowboys have 3 timeouts. They're at the Rams' 37-yard line. Dorsett. And Dorsett stops the clock at the 31-yard line after a gain of about 7.
Well, even though they're throwing quick passes, what's killing the Rams right now is their lack of pass rush. They have to blitz someone on every play, and the blitzer's been getting picked up. And,
that plagued them last year, too, O.J. They did not have the pass rush. Their best man is Jack Youngblood. He really is not all that big. And he's been around a while. The Rams had 33 sacks a year ago when the league leaders were right up there, 57, 58, 59.
You can count on Dorsett to do something before this game's over after those 2 fumbles.
Second down and 4. Ball at the 31-yard line. Whoop, the old flea flicker backfires, and down goes Hogeboom.
He did something.
Jim Collins, who was on the blitz, and what a bad time to have that play called because they were not even looking at Dorsett. They were blitzing Hogeboom on the pass. Dorsett went into the line, turned around, and got the ball back to Hogeboom about the time Collins arrived.
I would be the last guy to be able to be qualified to criticize Landry, but why would you run this play, Don?
I don't really have any idea. As a matter of fact, they've been running the ball and moving the ball so well down there. And number one, it looked like he turned right. He pitched it to Tony first. So you're pitching to the guy who's fumbled twice.
Timeout called by Gary Hogeboom. He'll talk it over with Tom Landry. We'll be back after this message from the National Football League. That message, of course, brought to you by Vince Ferragamo and the National Football League. 1:27 remaining in the half. The Dallas Cowboys picked a very inopportune time to come with a flea flicker because Collins on the blitz. Jim Collins was not paying any attention to Dorsett. He flipped it to Hogeboom, and the loss is all the way back to the Cowboys' own 47-yard line. It's 3rd down and 25. Hogeboom attracts the crowd. He'll find more of them now. Hogeboom uses a lot of time getting back to the Rams' 42-yard line, where he will still be far away from what I would think Septien's range would be.
Well, it already got the punter out there.
Yeah.
You're right.
I was going to say, he didn't look that nifty, even though he was in a running offense at Central Michigan. He ran a lot of option stuff there. Didn't look that nifty on that one.
It would be about a 58-yard field goal attempt, so Tom Landry has sent Jim Miller out to try and pin the Rams down deep in their own territory. Leroy Irvin is back there with Henry Ellard.
You didn't think he looked good because you've been looking at Dickerson and Dorsett. Now, compared to those guys, he doesn't look good.
Looked like a reverse angle
Yeah,
slow-mo, didn't
but
he?
he picked an opportune time to run, to showcase his running ability. Why not? Let's kill the time. We'll back it up.
Take the timeout. I mean, take the penalty for delay a game because the Rams will have the football back, and the Cowboys would like to have them with the football with as little amount of time as necessary. And besides, if they back it up 5 yards, it's not going to affect the punt of Jim Miller by much.
Well,
In fact, the Rams might even decline the penalty.
I don't know if the Rams will have a return on, but they have some excellent men up front at blocking the punt.
Yardage refused. Still 4th down.
Refused the penalty, but if you look at a guy, not only is Gary Green a great cornerback, he has 9 career kick blocks in his career, and they may be thinking about that right now.
Rams declined the penalty, so Jim Miller will be punting away, but the seconds have ticked down to 28 remaining in the half. Miller looks for the left corner, and he did not get much of it. And they'll mark it near the 11-yard line with 22 seconds remaining for the Rams. They have a 13-7 lead. The Rams have 2 timeouts. They should not get very fancy. I'll remind you, Thursday night we'll be back at the Meadowlands. The Jets, with a win over Indianapolis yesterday, go against the Steelers. And then a week from tonight, that should be a beauty, the Redskins, trying to rebound from a thrashing by Miami, go against the San Francisco 49ers, Joe Montana, and the boys up there with a victory over Detroit. And that, of course, a rematch of the NFC Championship game of a year ago.
Well, that was a great game yesterday if you saw it. Well, that San Francisco team, when they have to score, they can move the ball down the field. Got Dwight Clark back. A lot of people felt if he was playing last year, they would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Gary Hogeboom, 254 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, the interception that led to a Rams score, but Cowboys have only had a couple of 400-yard passing games in their 25-year history, and in the booth is the man who provided both of them, Don Meredith.
How about that?
I was just thinking I wasn't a quarterback, and I didn't play for Dallas.
Had to be me.
Flag is down. Ferragamo dropping on the ball.
To tell you one thing, John Robinson is not going to be happy with his offense. Even though they have 13 points, they were almost gifts to them from the defense, and they haven't really been able to do much on offense today.
Jim Tunney has sorted it out.
No end on the left sideline scrimmage. Decline. 2nd down.
You must have an end. That seems rather obvious. Illegal formation.
Well, they probably had an in on the field, but the guy wasn't lined up on the line of scrimmage. One of those little technicalities.
Yeah, I saw an end of the line.
Cowboys with a remote possibility of getting it back with an opportunity to do something. Ferragamo drops again, and we might see the Cowboys use another timeout.
Yeah.
No, they'll let it tick down. A reminder, highlights from yesterday's action and, of course, today's play between Seattle and Cleveland that took place up in Seattle. We'll have that for you. Jim Lampley reporting out of New York. So both teams go into the locker room for the halftime. Rams on top of the Dallas Cowboys, 13-7. Stay with us.